Because that's why I want us to take a real honest look at Black culture. But how did we get here? How did Black culture get to the point to where it is now? Because are we truly in control of our culture the way we say we are? Clearly, we're not in control of the image of our culture. We're not in control of the image of our people. So since we're not in control of that, what else don't we control? What other aspects of our culture do we not control, rather, right? Looking at that. And then looking at the outcomes. But looking at the aspects of our culture that we do control, and then looking at the outcomes of that as well, right? Because even I put those people on the thumbnail for a reason. For a reason. To make a point. And that will go with this conversation. Right? Because like, think about the thumbnail, like somebody like a Cardi B. She's looked at and revered and touted as somebody who was a part of Black culture. That's not Black culture. Cardi B. You know, I would even put Pastor Jamal Bryant. You know, that's nobody questions that part of the culture. Right? It's like the live I did the other day when they were trying to make stripping in Magic City a part of Black culture overall, right? What they do in Atlanta and what Black people do overall is two different. But stripping is something that been around in America for the longest. It ain't Black culture, all those different things. But it's the most negative aspects of us they like to promote. Yes, sir, Lamar, you are Black culture too, my brother. You are as well, my brother. I appreciate that. Cleveland Williams, how you doing? How you doing? So you're right. Started with destruction. It started with the destruction of the mind and then destruction of the family. But yes, because it's like when you're not in control of your image, when you're not in control of your narratives, when you're not in control of your economics, when you're not in control of your self-defense, when you're not in control of how you eat, all of your essentials, your necessities, when you're not in control of that, when your oppressor is the one who's in control of how you live, like your basic necessities for you to live and survive, when your oppressor is in control of that, think about what else that they are in control of. And in this case, it is they programmed us to behave a specific way, and enough of us, that program seeped into enough of us where we are the way we are today, the N-words. That's why we're looking at this video that says the YN mindset is ruining society. But the YN ain't nothing but a new version of what has already been happening. My saying is, and this is not an excuse because I think by now it's 50-50, but white supremacy's greatest invention was the nigger mindset, the slave mindset. That was white supremacy's greatest invention. They instilled that into all of us, and it stuck with enough of us. And so there aren't enough, in my opinion, there aren't enough of us who realize what's going on. There aren't enough of us who are educated and studied about what has happened to us and what's going on. So going back to what Neely Fuller says, if you don't understand white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. What's going on, Amina? How you doing? How you doing? Rod, you said, so what does it all mean? It means we need to take back control. We got to find a way to take back control of our lives, of our basic necessities, of our autonomy. We can't call ourselves these great people. We don't control our basic necessities. He said, the thing that irritates me is every time Black folks mention culture, entertainment, and fashion, both of which have low ownership, are brought up, don't have the language and belief system to control. I'm just saying. Black and more black people, we have been compromised. We are becoming our enemies. Our coach, I remember Pairing Electric by Dr. Amos Wilson, and I quote, "Black people have been demonized by the Europeans." You already know it. The unseen seer, what's more, if you don't know thyself, everything else you know will only, there you go. Dorvell, what's going on? What's going on? The degraded consciousness where you justify maladaptive behaviors. Hey, Renee said, and how it works. Most aren't knowledgeable of the workings of white supremacy. There you go. So what's the starting point? Well, the starting point, hold on, I'm gonna get back to that. Hold on. It says the race system rewards and punishes the decisions, behaviors, and thoughts of black people. There you go. So the starting point, well, the starting point should have been something that been happened. But as of now, it is, well, what we keep talking about. Well, we have to, first of all, reprogram ourselves. Enough of us who gives a damn, enough of us who want something different. We got to make sure that we are reprogrammed, but we got to make sure that we are living examples of what we want. So, and I'm not acting like I know the answer. And let me just say that. Let me not act like I know the overall answer. But I'm just saying things that I've learned over the years that I would consider pieces of the puzzle is, for one, is us behaving like a cohesive group of people. Of course, that's against the programming. But those of us who understand better and operate differently, operating as a cohesive group of people, we have to do the work. Exactly. That's the starting point. The starting point is those of us not just talking about it, but actually doing the things that we are talking about. Like, and that's why I say we come here and we put our minds together. We have these conversations, but then the real work starts offline. So we have these conversations, then we go back into the real world, and then we implement the things that we came up with. G Money Hollywood, what's up? Going on? What's going on, my brother? Talk back to me. Let me know what it be on this Tuesday. Yes, I agree that some of the coach promotes degeneracy. However, it came into existence based on being enslaved and indoctrinated. There you go. There you go. So, but see, that's the thing too, right? Getting people to understand the indoctrination that matters. Now, it works so well that we continue the behaviors. And we're continuing the behaviors to our own detriment. So at some point, we do have some responsibility in our behaviors, but it still is the root of the indoctrination. So, you know, going back to the analogy, the white folk came into our house. They busted the door down in our house. They tore up our house. They ramshacked our house, just messed up our house and walked out, and we can't make them clean up our house. Yes, they tore up our house, but we have to clean up the house. And if we don't clean up the house, and if we continue, if we only look to find comfortable places to exist in that house that's all destroyed, then, and we never look to fix the house, then we will never have true liberation. That's my idea. I'm not saying it's the answer, but that's my thoughts around that. The unseen seer said, we are doing it. The answers are all around us. We know that all things begin in consciousness. That's universal law. Therefore, changing consciousness is the work. Without a vision, people perish. There you go. The concept, if you treat me like an animal, I will act out that which you have called me. Of course, and that's that psychology. That's that psychology. So please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share, because we're getting into this thing. Of course, it's a school night. We're not here all night, but we are going to make use of the time that we are here tonight. So before I get deep, let me go ahead and run my commercial, and then we go ahead and jump into this video by the YouTube channel, Blackie Speaks, and it's the YN mindset is ruining society. But check out this commercial real quick. So I told y'all I was going to get my merch shop up and running, so I've got it. So I want to show y'all my merch shop. So this is it. So I got some hats. So I got my own The Shoulders of Giants hats available for order. I have shirts. This is supposed to be like a canvas, some kind of shirt, jersey shirt. I don't know why they got that design, but it's a jersey shirt. Somebody wanted. Got hoodies, regular shirts, heavy, what they call it, the heavy tee. Tees for men's, unisex tees for women, everything. I got a mug. I gotta get this mug too. But this is the merch that I have available. See, I got my mug. I have my hats. and I have my apparel available, and all of that is the links and stuff are below and connected to the video. So I got my merch shop up and running, been working on that for a minute in the background to get my merch shop up and running. So I got it up and running. So if you want to support the channel, get you some merch, it's all available, links below and links attached to the video. Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to everybody tuning in from Instagram and everybody tuning in from Facebook. Shout out to everybody. So Gregory Jones says, we must value each other's relationships and use things instead of our conditioning to use people and value things. There you go. There's power and wealth in numbers, says Raw. There you go. G Money said, Jay, in order to be reprogrammed, we have to go to a professional Black psychologist who is not connected to the Black church, who can't do it on our own. It takes both self-intervention as well as real help. Correct. So that leads to the Association of Black Psychologists. And that's why that exists. That's exactly why the Association of Black Psychologists, ABPSY, exists, right? So those are psychologists, Black psychologists who are trained up in Black psychology. PC, what's going on, my brother? And so those are the psychologists who are trained up in the field of Black psychology specifically, and they learn that to help deal with the generational trauma. And so, yes, I agree with that. ABPSY. And shout out to FAMU's psychology program, which is an African-centered psychology program. And a lot of the professors in FAMU's psychology program are members of ABPSY, former past presidents of ABPSY. So we do have a coalition of Black psychologists that we can utilize. And so, and as a matter of fact, my brother PC is in the mental health field. My brother Patrick, he's graduating and becoming a therapist, so he can help in that field. And I am actually now registering for grad school to get my MSW and eventually get my LCSW, so I can get into the mental health field and be able to help Black folk, because I understand what happened to us. So yes, I agree, G Money, I agree. But once again, that's why ABPSY exists, and that's why we do have a coalition of Black psychologists who are trained. Because as a matter of fact, I would just talk to my mom. He's deceased now, but one of my former professors, Dr. KK Cambone, he was the former president of ABPSY. One of my former professors, two of my former professors who are still alive here in Tallahassee, Dr. Dana Denard and Dr. Huberta Jackson Lohman, they are former presidents of ABPSY who are actually and currently doing therapy work here in Tallahassee in that lane right now. So we do have it, we just got to expand it. Let's say he said we could do it on our own. We need to invest in reading psychology books that identify maladaptive behaviors. Hey, and that's why I do my Monday readings. That's why I do my Monday readings. All y'all got to do is tune in to my Monday readings at 1 o'clock. It's what we reading. Y'all asked for it. It's what we reading now. Y'all asked for it. Here it is. Just got through reading this. Dang show read this, the compensatory code. You know, we just got through reading Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. So, you know, my Monday readings. Tune in to my Monday readings. But let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's get into this, because what this means is we have a basic understanding of what's going on. So let's analyze this. Please hit that like button, y'all.
Now, if you're on certain spaces of TikTok and social media, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the term YN. Not to be confused with Young Ninja. YN stands for Young Nigga, which is a slang popularized by rap culture. The term is supposed to represent young Black men, mostly teens, and is heavily associated with the image of a Black face, often in connection with erratic behavior, which 99% of the time involves hurting people, whether that be stealing, robbing, or just being belligerent. However, this term is not defined by skin color. It's more a mindset that the new generation of young people are taking on. We're talking about children as young as 10 being influenced by the behaviors that come with this term. And they're mainly being influenced by it through different forms of media, social media being the main one. But we also have music, specifically rappers, promoting this way of showing up in the world. A lot of the violent behavior from young people being publicized on social media right now can be connected to this mindset as well. And in this video, I want to talk about why the YN mindset is slowly ruining society. Rapper King Von, who died back in 2020, might be the poster.
And so looking at that part of his intro, and let's be clear. Those young men are not ruining society. That's hyperbolic. That's too much. Those young men are not ruining society. American society was ruined before those young men were ever born. But what those young men are doing, one of the things that he said that I agree with, those young men are heavily influenced by what they see in the media. They are heavily influenced, even by this young man he about to get into that's on the screen. They're heavily influenced by what they see on the media or in the media. They're heavily influenced by what they see in their communities. They're heavily influenced by what may be reinforced in their households. For a lot of them, it's not reinforced in their households, but they grew up in front of the tablets. Because remember, like thugs and gangsters and stuff, it's not nothing new. Like black people destroying our own communities is not nothing new. It's just, it seems like it's on a whole nother level now, and it may not be. We're just able to see more of it, and we're more aware of it. So because of social media, if I'm in Tallahassee, Florida, I know what's going on in Compton, California. Back in the days, I didn't know what was going on. Now social media, we get instant stuff. So do we have an issue in our community, especially with these young men? Yes, but the question is, if we have a YN problem, how did we get here? How were YNs created? Why do YNs exist? Who created YNs? What environment did YNs come up in? Looking at all of that, right? Because we have to, like Neely Fuller said, we have to ask questions.
For this conversation, because Von was not only the physical representation of what the YN term is associated with, which is a blackface, but King Von was also big on being a menace to society. That's what Von not only spoke about in his music, but he took pride in being the way he was. And then he got himself into an altercation in November 2020 and got himself killed. Now Von is just one example out of many, but he was a famous rapper, so he managed to at the very least reap the rewards from operating this way. Through the means of making a bunch of money from his music, he gained a lot of notoriety, fame, and recognition during his short-lived career. And although Von isn't here anymore, his music continues to influence kids all over the world in a negative way.
You say you want to come ride with us?
Yeah.
What you gonna do though, like if you get caught?
I ain't snitched. I went to juvie. I actually went to juvie because my teacher was scissors. You can ask Larry. I chased my teacher with scissors.
Yeah?
I chased my teacher with scissors and I stabbed her, and they said, "Oh, you're going to juvie for 3 months."
Man, Kings, you gotta chill though, but that's not cool.
Huh?
It's not cool to be bad.
It is cool. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm just trying to be like my idol,
Who your idol?
King Von.
What the?
Now that clip that I just played you at,
But I mean, it's a lot of questions to be asked though, right? You can't just look at the young man and be like, dang, that young man wilding. All right, that young man might not even be 12 years old, right? And so if that young man may not be 12, and then also if you understand behavior, if you understand how human behavior is formed, you're looking at that and you're asking questions like Cleveland asked, where's the dad? Where's the mother? Where's the village? Well, that village we keep talking about. It takes a village, but the village don't exist. And because the village don't exist, this is one of the issues we have, right? Because now we're looking at outcomes of a failure to operate as a collective group of people, as a community, as families. But we also understand what happened to the Black families. But even where we are now in 2026, we're at a point to where we have these gender wars, we have these diaspora wars. Black people are fighting other Black people everywhere across the globe. Black minds have been colonized all across the globe. But just concentrating on us here in America, our minds are warped. The majority of us, our minds are warped. So it goes to ask the question a lot of people are asking, like, how many of us gonna actually make it? How many of us can actually be saved? How much of the community, how much of the culture can actually be saved? Or do we have to blow this thing up and start over because of the direction everything is going? Because if you look at if you add everything up, we're degenerating. Our culture is promoting, I'm not going to say black culture overall is promoting degenerate behavior. The white media does a great job of promoting the worst parts of our culture. The white media does a good job of putting a spotlight on the worst people that they can put on.